Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Family of Mine Inc. podcast. This is your boy Simbawe Nibaye Jr., aka TK. Along with my man Omar Williams, we call him O. Say what's up to the Pete.
What's going on, good people?
Another lovely Wednesday, and again, welcome to the new year, guys. It has been an amazing 2021. We are now in 2022, and if you guys joined us last week, we talked about NBA basketball. So go check that out. And we are back on our, even talking basketball, still positive mindset, but we're just talking sports. But we're back on our regular regimen with our positive mindset, life-changing ideas and concepts, conversations and interviews and insights. So we have a lot of things lined up for you guys for the next 6 months here on the podcast. But before we get started, you know it's Affirmation Wednesday, and y'all know how we do. We get our affirmations in and out of the way. So if you have them, if you know them, get ready because here we go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Said that twice on purpose. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will line up and work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I will become better than who and what I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day, and I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it started. So today we are talking about quick life changes. Quick life changes. And so we're going to give you guys about 9 or 10 things you can do right now to make quick life changes in your life, per se, for lack of expression. So these are in no particular order whatsoever, but feel free to get your pen and paper out, your tablet, notepad, whatever you use, set notes on, write these down. And again, if you want to contact us here at the Family of Mine Inc. podcast, you can always go and email us at fofmpodcast@familyofmineinc.com, or give us a call at 302-689-3499, and we'll be happy to take your questions or whatever it is you guys want to email us about, and go from there. So let's get started. And again, no particular order. So I'm going to say number 1, number 2, but feel free to put it however you want. No particular order whatsoever. So number 1, make sure everything is good at home. Make sure everything is good at home. Why do we say that? Because everything begins at home. Everything begins at home. Everything with your relationship with your spouse, your children, them all collectively as a family, all of you as a family, collectively, individually, what you teach your children, how you treat your wife, how you treat your husband, how you treat everyone in the household as a family, making sure that everything is good at home, because even as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as businessmen and women, managers and all that we are, and all of us are leaders in some way. There's just multiple and different levels to that, but those of us who lead and have positions, It's not possible for us to lead everywhere else and not lead at home. And when I say lead, I'm talking to men who are husbands. Number one, make sure everything is good at home. Make sure that there's a song out there. I forget who the artist is in the gospel music industry, and it says, "Sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine." Just saying. You know what I mean? And look, the word of Elohim even says, look, you need to make sure that your house is in order and taken care of before you start doing other things. So, as leaders, whether you are, a man or a woman, and I'm talking to husbands in particular at the moment, making sure that things are good at home as the leader of the household. And women, if you are the leader of the household, because there is no husband or no man in the household, make sure things are good at home. I would say this, and you guys can feel free to debate me on it or to have a rebuttal or argument, whether it's via, your comments or just sitting in an email. But it's probably more than likely, and I'm saying, well, it's possible, not probable. It's possibly more than likely women who are, leading households are possibly more on top of things than men are. And I say this because there are a lot of single family homes out there that have women who are the lead in the household. And that's not a negative. That's just statistics.
Right.
Just the way it is. Now, I'm not saying that the men who are the heads of the household or who are there aren't doing it. It's just when you come to single households, if there's a woman who's there and there's no man in the household, the women kind of more on top of things because they can juggle a little more because that's just how they're made up. Just period.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a single household and there's a man who's there, there's no woman. Not that men can't do it. It's just a little more challenging because especially if you have little children, smaller children, us as men, we're not created and built to do certain things that the woman can do because that's just their makeup to do that. So not to get off topic, just kind of put a little sidebar in there. So make sure things are good at home. Make sure everything's good at home. All right. Number 2, be smart with your spending. Be smart with your spending. That really says a lot by itself. But just so we can elaborate and make sure you understand exactly what we're talking about, be smart with your spending means don't spend money on things you don't absolutely need. Number 1.
Good point.
Meaning, I want that, as opposed to, no, I need that. Or we want that, as opposed to, no, we need that. The difference between needs and wants, a want is a desire. You don't necessarily need it, you desire it because it's a want. It's something that you really want to have, but you don't need it. A need is a necessity. It's absolutely needed for survival or for things to continue on. So make sure you spend your money wisely. Be smart with it. Also, make sure you communicate with your spouse about the money spending. Don't just be spending money loosely and then expect that, things are going to be good, because we all know that money is probably the number one reason why marriages and families split up, because there's a money issue.
Right.
So, and let's remember, when we went to the altar, we said for better or worse, and that meant when we had money and when we didn't, among other things. What you got, O?
No, I was going to say, I'm going to add it's the number one reason why people get divorced. And money's the number one reason. The lack of it is the number one reason why people commit crime.
Imagine that.
So back to your point, spend your money wisely.
Yeah. So be smart with it.
Be smart with it. Yeah.
Communicate. You don't have to. Again, let's just leave it at this: needs versus wants. Plain and simple. Needs versus wants. All right. Another. This is number 3, but I'm gonna tag this on to number 2 as well. Don't get caught up in impressing people. Don't get caught up with impressing people, and that includes, trying to keep up with the Joneses, as they say. You want to try and get this and have that because you want to impress your neighbors or impress people living on your street or impress your coworkers or impress your family or impress your friends or whoever it is you're trying to impress. You're trying to impress your mentor, and your mentor, they've had years and decades in this. So impressing them is when you are doing what it is that they've asked you or told you to do to improve upon where you are right now. They don't expect you to have what they have and do what they're doing unless you just need a little extra push to get over the hump. I mean, if you're looking to have someone mentor you and coach you, you just kind of need to be able to know that there are steps to that and levels to it. And eventually you'll get there. But as a family, as individuals, don't get caught up in impressing people, trying to put on a facade of who or what you are. That's not really true. Now, let's be honest. We all want people to know that we at least have it together to a degree. Let's just be honest about that. Like, we don't want everybody to be like, oh, because we don't want people talking about us about, oh, look at how bad things look over there. We're just being honest. Like, I wouldn't want people to look at me or my family and say, oh man, look what's going on over there. And I don't think anybody else would either.
Right.
Now, there are people out there who really don't care about what people think. As far as people looking and saying, I don't care. And for me personally, I don't care what people think about me personally, but I do have a degree of care what people think or say about my family. And that's the reason why I do what I do. And I work like I do. And I pray like I do. And because I want my family to look good in the eyes of Elohim first, which that's the number one thing that matters. And then number two, in the eyes of others, that we can be an example of what a family should look like. And not just how we look, but how we carry ourselves, what our character says, what our attitude says about ourselves, and what we personify to other people. Not based on what our house looks like, what our car looks like, how much yard space we have, how fly we look when we come out the house. Like, that's not the number one thing when it comes to impressing other people. It's like, I want you to be impressed with our character, impressed with our attitude, impressed with the way we carry ourselves, impressed with how we speak to people, impressed. And not like we're trying to impress you. It's just we want to leave an impression on you that's positive and that shows, hey, we want to be an example of how this should be done. Not that we know it all, but we want to be an example to someone who's looking, who says, hey, wow, maybe we should model that family right there. And then, and so it's not a matter of wanting to impress people, but it's about leaving an impression on them. You got anything, O?
No, man, that point of don't try to impress, but be an impression, that's deep. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't go out here trying to impress people with your car. Don't try to impress people with your house, how much money you make, your clothing. Be an impression. And again, like I said, we want to model after Elohim. So be an impression and leave an impression that Elohim is in this building or in this house.
Right.
Or I want to model my family after that family over there. Like, what do they follow? Who are they moved by? Like, what is going on over there? Because they look different. You know what I'm saying?
And those are conversation starters right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who like to have conversations with people and start conversations, they will approach you and be like, "Hey, what's going on over here? Like, what are you guys doing? What's going on here that has me intrigued with what's going on?" And now you can begin to make an impression, or even more of an impression, on them, because now they're inquiring about what they see. So one thing I do want to add real quick, I saw something on Instagram, and it said that Adam Sandler, I don't have the number correct, like he's worth, I don't know, maybe like $24 million, something like that, but he's worth a lot of money. All right. And it said, even though he's worth, millions of dollars, he doesn't walk around in nice fancy clothing, and he walks the streets of New York with coffee in his hand, as if he's just going to work that day, to go work at a department store. Now, I'm not putting a department store job down. I'm just saying, I'm giving you an example. You won't find Adam Sandler working at a department store. Not now. Maybe a couple decades ago, but not now. but he walks around as if he lives in New York, but he walks around like, you know what? I'm a person, I'm a person just like you. You know, I have a lot, but I'm not flashing a lot. I'm gonna act as though I don't have it. You know, so and that leaves an impression on people because now he's approachable. You know, he's not flashing, you know, what he has, but people know he's Adam Sandler, and they know he's worth a lot of money. They do. I'm not saying he's walking around, you know, just, you know, ill-advised without the proper bodyguards or whatever. But you know, when you live in an area for a certain amount of time, especially in New York, like New York's just a different area. You know what I mean? It just kind of works differently in New York City, stuff like that. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
Let me add something to that too about him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just where he lives, because I heard he just filmed a movie in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And mm-hmm. Like the word on the street was he was out and about in the community, like interacting, like crowds around him, but he wasn't acting all Hollywood. And they were like, he was going and like patronizing the local stores and everything. And it was a big deal. So when you said that point, he was just in Philly filming a movie and being that same guy he is at home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So great example. Great example.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Now, y'all know we talk about this just about every podcast. Working on yourself, as we're doing even right now. Working on yourself. Quick life changes we're talking about today. So work on yourself. You know, and working on yourself involves what's going to help make you a better you for today. You know, our affirmations, we say, today I'll become better than who and what I was yesterday. It's all about becoming. Life's about becoming and becoming better, not just becoming in general, but yet not becoming in a negative way, becoming in a positive way, becoming better each and every day. I strongly believe that every generation should get better than the next as they go along. You know, I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. You know, I do studio work. You know, I write music, songs, all that. But my children are going to be better musicians than I was. They are. Like right now, they're taking piano. You know, I never took piano, but I know enough to give strong bones to a song and then have someone else come in and enhance that and make that song really do what it do. But I can give you strong bones. But my children right now are learning how to play piano and they're learning to read the scale, read notes, and all that stuff. And they're going to be much better musicians than I ever was as a drummer because they're learning at a young age. You know, I never had a drum lesson in my life. It was just a God-given, you know, talent, ability. And over time, I just began to cultivate that gift and began to work at it so much more that I became the musician that I am today. But, you know, working on yourself, that involves personal development, period. And that's, so a few key things that we'll give you. Personal development. Number 1, read the word of Elohim. There is a plethora of personal development in the word of Elohim. From Genesis to Revelation, there is personal development all up in there. Number 2, listen to something positive every day. 15, 20 minutes or whatever you want to do. Morning, afternoon, evening. I would highly suggest in the morning when you wake up or when you preparing for your day, and in the evening before you go to bed. So you're kind of setting your mind for the day and setting your mind for the evening. If you want to add something in the afternoon, then cool, do that. And when I say positive, it could be anything that's positive. It could be, you know, an audible word. It could be, you know, great music. It could be an audio book. It could be whatever. It could be a podcast like this one to listen to, you know, 15, 20 minutes, and then finish it up later on in the day. Most of our podcasts are about 30 minutes long, sometimes 45 minutes long. You know, break it up, listen to it, you know, in different parts of the day when you need it, you know. And then on top of that, make sure you take notes on things. Take notes and then go back at those notes. Look at them. See what you wrote down. See what you can implement right now with the stuff we're giving you today. Stuff you can implement right now. And then things you have to implement later or work on later, write those down and say, okay, we'll get to that later, because that I can't, not that I can't, but that's not something that we can do or I can do right now, because it's not necessarily doable at the moment. But I can do these things right here, like right now, like today, I can do this and start implementing it each and every day. So work on yourself. Individual, personal development is a must each and every day for all of us, from the most wealthiest and most positive person in the world to the one that's the most negative. Everybody needs personal development. Cool? All right. Number 5, always stay in a student mentality. Always stay in a student mentality. And I'm going to let O jump in on this too. So what does that mean? It's very self-explanatory. Always be a student. I'm not saying to stay in school for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to be a professional student, though there are professional students out there, people who go to school, they're a lifetime student. That's what they do. They get, major after major, PhD after PhD. Like, that's just what they do. Props to them. But when I say be a student, have a student's mentality, you should always be in learn mode. Always be in learn mode. Because that's how you start to become and continue becoming in life. You're a student all the time. You don't know it all. You know what you know. That's for sure. You know what you know. And what you know, teach to someone else who doesn't know. But you should always be learning throughout your life to better yourself, because you never know when you're going to need certain things in life that you will learn to apply to other things in life. Like learning math in school. Bless math. Math today is just, I don't know what they're teaching the kids, but bless them. Anyway, math in general, you need math for your entire life, period. You don't know math, you can't spend your money wisely. Just period. If you don't know math, you can't spend your money wisely. You're going to spend it loosely, and you're not going to have what you need to survive in life. Because while money is everything, it's not everything, but it does a lot for us in life. That's why it's here. So learning math is something a skill you need for the rest of your life. So even when we're done with school, college, and all that stuff, if you go to college or not, if you don't, we're not knocking it. When you're done with school, whatever amount of knowledge you have in mathematics, continue to work on that, because you're going to need that for the rest of your life, period. And there's things you learn along the way. You learn different strategies when it comes to math. I'm making math an example because math is a lifetime thing you need to know. So always constantly be in a student mentality, learning more about your industry, learning more about what you do on your job. If you work, for a company and you work in human resources, learn all you can about human resources. If you want to get a leg up on the competition, a leg up, not just on being competitive in the building you work in, but competitive in the industry that you work in. So let's say you work for Affirmation Inc. and you work in HR. Okay, Affirmation Inc. wants to be the best it can be, as a company. If you want to help Affirmation Inc. be the best in their industry, learn more about HR so that our HR is top notch, so that nobody can touch us. Learn as much as you can, so that way when you become in a position where you start leading people, now you can teach those who are under you to do even better job than what you did when you were there. Because that, again, it's about becoming. It's all about, learning and continuing to learn in life. Oh, you got it.
They say there's a statement that says the person that knows the most knows that he knows nothing.
That's right. That's
right? We never arrive. We never get to a point of, oh, I beat like back in the old 80s video games. I beat the game. You never beat this game. Yeah. So you're always going to be learning, growing, learning some more, growing, and just know there's always more that you can learn. So the most important thing that you can know is that you know nothing. That's why if you hear me talk, I usually say what I think I know. I never say I know, because we don't know, but we know what we know. Like you said, we know what we know, but how do I know that that's what I'm? How do I know? So keep learning, keep growing, keep reading, keep feeding on things that are positive, and we never arrive. So learning is a great thing. Always stay a student, and it's where I wish I had this mentality when I was a teenager.
I know, right?
People tell kids, man, one of the biggest gripes with kids is that they think they know everything.
Yep.
Think about that. Think you know everything, so you butt heads with them.
Yep.
I wish I'd have had that mentality back then, though. So
yeah, to tag on to that, most of your successful people in life are constant students. People like the Elon Musks,
right,
and the Will Smiths. Like Will Smith, this is in my mind. In my mind, Will Smith is a genius at taking on real life characters. And when you listen to him talk and how his process is and what he does to become these characters like King Richard, Ali, Muhammad Ali, I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy that worked the concussion stuff, the African guy. I forget his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And these other characters that he's played, these real life people. It is a strenuous process, but he's learning about these people to understand how can I bring about this character to life on screen so that when you're looking at me acting, you don't see Will Smith. You see Muhammad Ali.
That's good.
You see, King Richard. One thing real quick. When Serena and Venus came on the set for the first time of King Richard when they were filming, Will Smith was in character when they came on set. He wasn't acting, but he was on set. And Will Smith said, whenever I go into a character, I stay in that character even when I'm off set, because I want to make sure that I remain in character, so that way I engulf who this person is, so I can continue to be that, and I have to, start over again the next day. So he was in character, and when they heard him speaking, his back was to them, and they were walking his direction, and he was speaking and talking, and they walked up to them and they said, "Dad?" He turned around and it was him. Wow. They were like, "You sound just like him."
Wow.
Like, that's a student.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why he makes $20 million a picture, if not more now. That's someone who constantly studies on how to be the best he can be in his industry. He went from being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or the rapper from Philly, to being one of the most sought after actors in our time, making $20 million a picture, if not more. So, and he's got a book coming out. I'm not giving him like a huge promotion. I'm just saying. I mean, you get to the point where you start becoming, and he's at the point. I mean, everything that I've listed so far, I mean, he's done it in golf, and I'm just making him an example because to me, he is a acting genius. There's others out there, but to me, that's to me. So always stay in a student mentality. All right. This is what, number 6, I believe. Number 6. Don't plan with hope. Don't plan with hope. Plan. This is TK's take. Okay, here. So this is my take right here. Don't plan with hope. Plan with thanks. Don't plan with hope. Plan with thanks. And I'll explain that. And I'm gonna explain it really quick so we can keep moving on. So my daughter, when she used to pray at night before she went to bed, what happens is at night before my children go to bed, we have them say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Say that verse in Psalms. They say it together, and then they pray individually. And so my daughter will pray, then my son will pray, and then either myself and my wife will pray at the end, and then it's bedtime. So my daughter, she used to pray. When she would pray, she would always say, you know, I hope we have a good day tomorrow. I hope that we don't get sick. I hope that this, that, I hope, I hope, I hope. And so one day I was thinking about it and I'm like, I mean, hope is a great thing. But I told her, I said, baby girl, I said, when you pray from now on, I'm like, I want you to replace hope with thanks. And say, don't say, I hope, say, I thank you for that tomorrow will be a good day. I thank you that we won't get sick. I thank you. I said, start saying thank you. And I told her why. I said, because what happens when you say hope, you're kind of like, I'm hoping it'll be okay, but it might not. When you say thank, you're like, I'm already thanking you in advance, Elohim, that tomorrow's going to be a good day. And now I expect it to be a good day because I've already thanked you for it. So when I say don't plan with hope, plan with thanks, just like in your planning, be thankful already that whatever you're planning is going to be great and awesome, because you're kind of saying, hey, I thank you already that this is going to be great. I thank you that tomorrow's going to be a great day. I thank you that tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. I thank you I already had that job that I went for. I thank you already that my team has won the championship. I'm not saying you as a fan, you as a player. All y'all fans be thinking,
Right.
oh, we think we won the Super Bowl already. No, I'm talking about as far as players, because they got to play the game.
Right.
You just watching. But plan with thanks. Don't plan with hope. Plan with thanks.
That's good.
Next one, don't lose your money. That goes along with being smart with your spending. Don't lose your money, meaning don't spend it on things that are going to not bring you a return. That we call that investing. Don't invest in things that aren't going to give you a return. And when I say that, there are some things you just cannot invest in. That includes helping out family members.
Oh, he said it. He said it.
Uh-oh. I'm not going to elaborate because we've talked about that before in other podcasts, but that includes helping family members. You may have to, not may, you will have to say no. You will have to say no, because it's not a good investment. Now, there are times when you will help your family members, but when you start seeing that it's not, there's no change in them, and you're seeing that what you're doing is becoming wasteful, you will have to start saying no. Don't lose your money also means don't invest in things just because it looks good. Do your homework. Do a little investigating. Do some research. We've all done it. Listen, we've all done it. We've all done it. We've all invested in things that were not good, that went down, that tanked, that took our money and ran, and just was not a good investment. And some of us will continue to do it, because we don't know it all. Again, always be a student, research, look things up. That will help you tremendously when you research and look things up and study, find out what it is. This is why my man O does what he does when he does his stock and investment and trades. He researches, he studies. He's a student of the stock market. He's a student of the stock market. He's a student of trading. He's a student of investments. He works his butt off to be like, you know what? If I'm going to do this full time, I have to know what I'm doing to a large degree and continue to study to get better, because there's always something out there I don't know. So don't lose your money making bad investments, bad choices, and just putting it out there. I don't care how much money you have. People who are wealthy, I didn't say rich, I said wealthy. There's a difference. People who are wealthy will always, most times, I won't say always, most times will look for something that costs, that's less inexpensive than something that's going to be expensive. Why? Because they recognize that any time in my life, what I have can be taken from me, or I can lose it if I make a bad decision or I'm wasteful. Don't lose your money. Next one, work your face off. Now, When I say that, I'm going to reiterate saying work hard, but also working hard, make sure you work right. And people always say, work smarter, not harder. That's great to a degree. I like to say work right rather than working harder. Because if you work right, you won't have to work as hard. You can work smarter, but if you work right, it's even better. Because you're doing the right thing to get the result you're looking for. Working smarter will help you not to work as hard. But the process can still be longer. You work right, you can kind of cut some time out. Because now you're working in a way that is productive from a quantity standpoint and from a quality standpoint. Work hard. I mean, my work ethic comes from my father. My father actually is still working at 81 years old. My father is still working. Now he plans on retiring completely this year. He's not working full time, but he's working part time. He retired once already, and then went back and worked part time. He's planning on retiring this upcoming year. Well, this year, 2022. I've told him, I said, I have to wait to see it to believe it, because you said you said you're going to do it for the past 3 or 4 years. But his goal is to reach to be 100 years old. But when for him, there's plenty of things for him to do outside of work. Just his work ethic is so strenuous. And it's not like he's like cracking the whip on me and my brothers. It's just that he showed us that you have to have a work ethic that brings about results. And then once you get those results, then you work even harder to get the next results, because there's always results you need. So if you want results, you got to work for it. It's not going to just fall in your lap. It's not going to come out the sky. Someone's not going to give it to you. Stuff can and will be given to you. But again, if you don't have the capacity to take care of it and handle it, you're going to lose it. So all these things correlate. If someone gives you something that's a large amount of something to you, if you don't have the capacity to know what to do with that, you're going to lose it. You're going to not be smart with it. You're going to get caught up in impressing people. Home is not going to be the thing that you're going to make sure is all together. You're not going to work on yourself because someone gave it to you. So now you're not going to have to work for it, which now makes it hard for you to be a student, because now you stop learning. Because now you're like, oh, well, I got all this stuff. What do I need education for? What do I need knowledge for? And then and then most times you stop planning. And if you do, you're planning with hope. Well, I hope it all works out. No. Put a plan together that works. Work hard. But in working hard, work right. I've seen people work hard for a long time, for decades, and at the end had nothing to show for it. So work hard, yes, but work right. Do the right thing, as Spike Lee said. Last but not least, and we'll start wrapping it up. Last but not least, don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. All of us, at any point in our lives, whether we were children, teenagers, adults, middle-aged, seniors, have one point in our life wanted to give up. And if any of us were completely and totally honest, we have given up. We have given up. And we spoke in a podcast before about stopping and giving up, or stopping and quitting. And I said, stopping is, okay, I'm going to put a pin in this and I'll come back to it. Quitting is, you know what? I'm done. And you just completely walk away and leave everything there with no plan to come back to it whatsoever. You can stop and pause, take a break, come back to it. When you quit, you're like, nah, I'm done, with no plans to come back to it whatsoever. So don't ever quit. Keep going. If you do quit something that's not helping you get where you want to go. But don't quit doing what you're doing because you don't see the results. You don't see the promised land. You don't see what it is you want to see. If you're going to quit something that's not getting you where you want to go. But don't quit what you're doing to where it is you're trying to go. Oh, what you got?
Yeah, and just to add to it, don't quit things that will cause you to grow. Like, they say Jesus prunes so that we can keep growing. So you got to prune things away. So yes, if there's something that's holding you back and cause you to actually die, quit that.
Yeah.
Stop that. But don't quit the thing that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get to the end. And actually, you never really get, again, back to that. You never really get to the end of any race. Mm. You just keep doing, you get where you think is the end, and then there's a whole nother track that you got to accomplish there. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the end of that, and then you see a mountain that's a part of the track. Like, hold up. I thought I got to the end of this race. No. You keep going, and like you said, put a pin in it, maybe get some water, take a breather, think about it. All right, let's go.
Right.
There
you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good. So real quick rundown before we end out. Make sure everything is good at home. Be smart with your spending. Don't get caught up in impressing people. Work on yourself. Always stay in a student mentality. I can't stress that enough. That's probably like the number one thing in all of these. Stay in a student mentality. Like, always be learning. I can't stress it enough. Don't plan with hope. Plan with thanks. Don't lose your money. Work your face off, aka work hard, but work right. And never quit. Never quit. So thanks, guys, for joining us today. Anything you got before we go?
No, I'm good, brother. Good show.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm sure you got something out of it. Again, we don't know it all. Well, what we do know, we're going to teach y'all and let y'all know about it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to always do that. So, as always, continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And again, if you guys want to contact us here at the show, you can always do so at FOFM podcast at frameofmindinc.com. That's FOFM podcast at frameofmindinc.com, or give us a call at 302-689-3499. Again, that's 302-689-3499. And as always, continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And until next time, I holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's a frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.